Isn't that the aliens guy, or is that someone else? I don't know.
No, that's
Wait, I thought it was
Eric
more like this,
Andre.
Allie.
Andre, yeah.
Really good comedian.
He's also the one that does the memes where like
We're starting.
Okay.
We're
the guy
starting.
behind him and says, "Why would he do this to himself?"
Oh,
All
that's
right.
right.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I lived.
So we're gonna start. We'll start basically just with an overview what the
Yeah.
show is going to entail.
Are we
We'll
sure?
reference
Are we
we'll
live?
reference the games here, but we're gonna say we'll come back to it at the end. All right.
Hey, look, games. All right, so you were saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff. I like
Alright.
stuff.
We good?
Oh,
All
we're
right.
recording.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Well, I'm not
Good
ready for
to
this.
know.
I am panicking right now. Does anybody notice that? I'm just freaking out.
You're okay. You're
Is this a safe place?
Can I
Yes.
talk?
It's okay.
Oh, sorry. Right.
Welcome to another month of pop culture talk. I almost said the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. I'm really not on my game right now. Anyway, we have a jam-packed show for you. We also have a jam-packed panel, which
4
is kind of,
people.
this is the first time we've done 4. So,
In a while.
Well, it's been a while.
have we done it before?
We've done like 5 people.
Yeah, we've done.
No,
yeah,
well,
we have.
in the new
Like,
studio,
wait,
we
well, okay,
haven't.
new studio, but this is also like the first time we're doing like this setup.
Yeah.
That's true. This is the
So-
first time with this setup. And we're not talking about the games that are strategically placed in front of us, which we'll come back to later. Ha.
So we're not talking about those.
We're not talking about those things yet.
Not right now.
But anyway, we have, I guess it's more minimalist, as you can see, our mics, cool mics, provided by
Aren't these
Public
mics
Access
actually bigger,
Television,
though?
Uxbridge. Thank you, Barry Giles. And
Not as complex.
so we are here. My name's Chris Mills. We got,
I'm Hallie Doppler.
can't remember his
George
name.
Costanza?
George
saying that
Costanza.
right.
Yep.
Nice name.
Tyler Hamill. That's
Tyler Hamill.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Alright.
Good job. Good
And,
recovery.
and I'm Phil Hamill. Hello, it's me,
Dad.
Hello.
son.
So we're here. We're going to be talking about San Diego Comic-Con announcements, some of the big announcements that came out of there, and we're also going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we have going on at Great Stories Comics and Games here in Uxbridge, Massachusetts, the center of the universe, basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just so you know.
Center of my
Quite,
universe.
quite literally.
So anyway, let's kick it off. I mean, what's the biggest thing that came out of San Diego Comic-Con?
I mean, there was Phase 4 that came out. There was a bunch of news from DC.
Bingo.
I like how you swept the DC stuff in there like it's important.
Yeah, no.
Like, it's like.
Bingo
it's-
to Phase 4.
Okay. Okay.
So
Not that I don't
That's
love
all
DC.
I'm-
We all know how much I
That's
love
all
DC.
I'm excited for is Phase 4.
that's all
it.
you're excited for
Yep,
is Phase 4?
that's it.
Okay, well,
Not
we'll
sure
see
if
if
I'm
we
excited
can't
yet.
change Hallie's mind about that maybe later on as we
We'll
get
see.
into these topics.
Right.
I've got some things, but
But Phase 4 is going to usher in, 2 cinematic movies next year, plus a big show on the yet-to-be-launched Disney Plus app
Which is in fall.
in the fall.
Yep.
Well, the
Okay.
Disney Plus app comes out at the end of this year. Is that
Yes.
correct?
yeah.
That would be the
Right.
fall.
No,
Yep.
do the fall, yeah.
It's in this fall. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think. That's what she was saying.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
Not the programming we're going to be talking
No,
about.
no, no,
Okay.
no.
All right.
Disney stocks.
So, we got a hint at what was coming for
Right.
Phase 4, and it's going to kick off with basically a look back into Marvel Cinematic Universe history, right?
Right.
Not really a forward-thinking show or movie, but Black Widow is finally going to get her
We're
due.
finally getting
I'm
our Black
so
Widow
excited
movie.
For that.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
The Marvel movie that I've actually wanted for the longest time because she was
Yep.
such a cool character, and I'm like, I need to know more about this character.
She's very badass.
Yes. But we never got it. Now we
No.
have it, and I cannot wait for it to come out.
We got a lot of hints and stuff at her past that
Mm-hmm.
definitely like kept people on their toes and helped her character develop in just ongoing series of movies where she constantly took the back seat. But now we're gonna be able to see how her character has really developed, and I think it'll be a great way to conclude her story arc even after her death. in
Yeah,
Endgame.
I really hope it doesn't seem anticlimactic to the audience because we obviously know the
Yeah.
fate that Natasha suffered in
I
the
mean, if
Endgame movie. But
if the panel at San Diego Comic-Con was any indication, people are super excited and desperately want this movie to come out. So you know,
That's
Let's
good.
hope.
I know I'm excited. It's way overdue. We've got we just heard the villain is going to be Taskmaster.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna
That's
be great.
huge, right?
That's gonna be fantastic.
oh, I know. But
How do you
here's my
think they're
question.
gonna? How do you think they're gonna do the look of the Taskmaster? You think he's gonna look kind of?
They're probably gonna do like
Artificial
I don't know.
probably an updated or artificial CGI.
You think so?
Yeah.
Sort of like what they did with Mysterio and.
Actually, I
Of
feel
course.
like Mysterio
Far
was
from
kind
home.
of like on the money as far as his look goes.
Well, I
compared
know,
to
but
comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but like bringing it from the comics to live action, like that was.
They
I
kinda
didn't know how they were going to
modernized
do it and
him.
make it look cool.
Well, yeah, okay, I get what you mean by that.
But guys, are they going to show Budapest?
That I heard that they are. I heard that. So we could see Jeremy Renner in this movie.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I honestly
pretty
don't,
awesome.
don't see why we wouldn't, seeing as they have such a huge history together.
It would be a missed opportunity if
Yeah,
they did not
absolutely.
address it for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice to put him? I mean, well, he never really got his own series either, like his own movie.
Right.
He was another background character, and now
He was the
potentially be
background
a
of the background.
to her as well.
Yep.
I mean, he's a guy that shoots a bow, so I mean, how cool can he be?
I mean, you're all over that stuff.
Yeah, it's
so.
kind of like
One of my favorite
Green Arrow?
characters. No, that's doesn't even compare. I'm
No,
not
I
going to
enjoy-
get
why?
into
Because
the
Green
logistics.
because that guy has money
no,
too.
We know for a fact. We know for a fact that Hawkeye is, by and large, the better archer amongst the two of them. Like there are statistics that have been
Yeah.
shown. There's a whole battle between them on another YouTube channel that I'm not going to accidentally plug here. That literally showed the statistics between the two of them and just how he is just so much better than Green Arrow in every single way. But I'm getting off topic. We're not talking about Green Arrow. We're
Except
talking
for his
about Black
bank
Widow.
account. Remember that.
Right, because how do
All
you
of our
make-
queens got
how,
banked.
how do you make a great hero other than pay
Money.
for all of his stuff?
Tony Stark. Excuse me. Sorry. Did I sneeze there?
To be fair, Tony Stark invented everything he has himself.
True. That's a good point.
That's
actually.
more
Yeah.
than
He brought
either
himself
Oliver
up.
Queen.
He didn't just
or
inherit
even
all that
Bruce
money.
Wayne could say, okay.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean,
He didn't
yeah.
inherit all the money. He actually worked for it and has
Yeah.
incredible ideas that bring innovation and bring us into the future. Futurist Tony Stark.
Right.
So, rest in peace. Sorry.
A little emotional.
Yeah.
Still emotional.
So Black Widow is going to officially launch us into Phase 4.
Yes.
Right.
But what comes after that?
Isn't it Loki?
I think, actually, it is... Oh, I think I have it right here. We have, in the fall, there's going to be two offerings. One on that Disney Plus channel. It's going to be
Right.
Falcon and...
Winter Soldier.
And Winter Soldier.
Should be
I'm
interesting.
so excited for that. I really like Winter Soldier.
Especially
and I
since
love Bucky.
we're expecting Falcon to take up the mantle as the new
Yeah, I want to see
Captain
what he
America.
does
I
with
wonder
that.
if that's going to play into it.
So,
it probably,
Probably
is.
is.
So here's another thing, right? So just like Black Widow is kind of like a look back into the past, right? To start off Phase 4.
Right.
Since the mantle's being given at the end of Endgame has been given to Sam Wilson to become Captain America, does that mean this Falcon and Winter Soldier
Maybe it'd be like
show
a pairing.
might be a pairing, but also might be set before the events of Endgame? Is that
be.
possible?
Could be.
Could
It
be.
could also be the.
That gave me chills.
Oh,
So, I don't know.
I was gonna.
That's good.
I was actually gonna say it could be during the the blip, but I remembered that they were not there for the blip.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were not there. I am sorry. I
Maybe
forgot.
it could occur during that 5 years.
They weren't there though.
Oh yeah. no,
They were.
never
They were
mind.
both gone. That like
So-
I had that thought. I'm like, wait a minute. No, they weren't. They
Yeah.
weren't there.
Okay.
I don't think at any point during the canonical timeline for, well, the Infinity Saga, they were ever, like, together. Like, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Because we see him in Winter Soldier. Obviously, we see the Winter
Of course.
Soldier.
yeah.
And that entire time, he's basically on the run. And then after that,
Wasn't Falcon with Captain though? during Civil War, or was
Yeah, but during the entire movie, he's basically trying to avoid being captured, the Winter Soldier.
right? That's fair.
So, at what point
Okay.
was he like not in hiding,
Right.
and or would have been going on hijinks with? And you have to think about
That's
it
a
like
really
this.
good point. So maybe it doesn't fit in the timeline until after Endgame anyway.
In the
But-
comics,
it could be just be the continuation of the story.
In the comics, the Winter Soldier was actually the one. Bucky was the one who took over the mantle first, and it wasn't until decades later that we get the Falcon version. So I wonder maybe if that'll play into it, where they're kind of like, even though it was passed to Sam Wilson, what if Bucky's kind of like, but I kind of want to take that from you because he was my friend first, and
What
They
if
certainly
their
didn't
powers
give any
combined?
hints of
Kind
any
of.
That's true.
They didn't give any hints of any
Animosity
butt
between
hurt,
them, yeah.
at that moment in Endgame. It looked like it was kind of like, yeah.
I mean,
it's
it
all
could
you.
raise.
But-
it could raise tension.
But yeah, maybe the show does start off with like something that Falcon does or Sam Wilson does that gets misconstrued, and maybe he's not worthy of
yeah,
fight.
Shield.
Bucky's like,
Maybe
you're
that's the
not
premise of the
really
show.
the Captain
they fight.
America that we
Maybe.
need.
Big fight.
Hashtag not my
I
Captain
can take
America.
over. Hashtag not Bucky's Captain America.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail that. Go
good.
ahead.
That was brilliant, actually. That was brilliant. Yeah, because I don't really see them going backwards. Like, if you're running an entire show on what amounts to like maybe a couple of minutes in the movies that they spent together, that wasn't really, time to go out and adventure.
Yep.
I don't think it would work out. They would definitely have to place it in the future. So this whole Captain America mantle passing thing is definitely gonna have to be addressed. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what's gonna happen. That's my personal opinion.
That's a thought.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. And let's not understate the significance of this show, because even though Marvel has somewhat brought in small screen fare and
Right.
had it linked into
with
the
their
cinematic universe
Agents
with
of
Agents of
Shield
Shield,
and so
Yeah.
on.
right? And you've had hints of it, like with the the Sokovia Accords. They've
Yeah.
the show has definitely referenced stuff that has gone on in the cinematic universe. It hasn't worked in the reverse thus
Right.
far.
Not yet.
We've never had events on the small screen affect anything in the larger
Right.
universe.
It was,
And this could
it
be
was
the
too
first
small,
time.
It's too small scale. But now that
Right.
we have our forgive me for throwing this term out, our B and C tier Marvel heroes now having their own TV series, they can actually impact the overall larger story for the MCU.
Correct.
That's true.
Correct. I mean, and it doesn't really matter that these properties that you're talking about came from the Marvel Cinematic Universe to the small screen.
Exactly.
But
I mean,
we
it's
are
sort
going to
of Phil
see
Coulson.
that we are potentially going to see storylines in the cinematic universe driven by stuff that's happening on the small screen, which to me is fantastic.
I don't think
I love
that's
that.
Has that ever been done before for large scale production like this, or I don't think this has ever happened before.
No, and I
No.
think that's what makes it Marvel.
Yeah. It's been
Marvelous.
talked about. It's been conceptualized with other properties. Like, for instance, they were talking for the longest time about Stephen King's The Dark Tower,
Right.
going from like movie to TV series, back to movie to TV series, and kind of doing that whole thing. But to my knowledge, I don't think there's been anything else out there that's actually been produced that has
Right.
gone this direction.
Right.
We might find people, please comment on our video and let us know if that's not the case. If there is small screen fare that has actually translated later, after the fact, into cinematic fare, that would be a nice footnote here.
At least on a franchise level.
On a franchise
Yeah.
level, we'd love to know. But so this is kind of an exciting time heading into
Right.
2020.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening here, and we're still not done, because there's another movie that's going to be coming out right around the same time that Falcon and Winter Soldier premieres. We're going to get an Eternals movie.
Yeah.
Which is
Is
a
that what's
nice
coming
change.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. I think
This
the
is-
Eternals is going to be.
Which is a nice change.
Yeah.
I like the
Now,
new.
what can we expect in the Eternals?
that's kind of a mystery to me. This is almost, it's got that feel of like when they announced the Guardians of the Galaxy
Right. I
movie,
remember.
and I was kind of like, really? They're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy movie? Like, I mean, I barely even knew anything about the characters. You know,
Right.
you kind of like cursory knowledge, that type of thing. And the Eternals are kind of the same thing for me, at least, as a comic reader. I read more of the street level stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I do go to Avengers level, but you know, Eternals is kind of like more of an unfamiliar territory.
It
type
gets
thing
to
for
a
me.
point with comics where it gets too big,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like the scale is so massive that, you know, as a comic book reader, like when I tried reading the Eternals the first time, I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. This is too much. Like, it was too much for me. So
Yeah.
I ended up closing the comic book and putting it back up on the shelf. I'm like, I can't do this right now.
Yep.
And it was sort of the same thing with Guardians for me the first time around when I tried reading my first Guardians of the Galaxy, because they just kind of dropped me in the middle of it, and I'm like, who are these people?
Yeah.
And I was kind of, when Guardians was first announced back in like 2013, where it was dropped,
Yeah.
I was initially worried because I'm like, I have a cursory knowledge of like the Guardians I read about,
Yep.
but they were never actually shown in the movie. Because like I was reading like the old comic book Guardians, where it was like two of your crew members were people from Pluto. They were like Plutonian ice people, and I'm like,
Right.
like, oh god, are we gonna get the weird Crystal Rock people? And when we didn't get them, we got Chris Pratt dancing around and having a good time. I'm like, oh, I like this way more. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that the Eternals kind of follows that same general idea of kind of humanizing the Guardians first and foremost. Not the Guardians, the Eternals first and foremost,
Yep.
and then get like investing the people into it. Like
Right.
that's my hope anyway, because I honestly do not know that much about the Eternals.
And I think that's going to play to the Eternals' favor, just like the
Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy did. I think Guardians, even though like a lot of people were kind of scratching their heads over that announcement, and then the movie came, and people didn't have like a preconcepts about like how the characters should be.
Right.
I don't think they really had strong opinions. They weren't like the really highly known properties,
Right.
And because of that, they were able to make it their own,
Right.
and surprise people too, because people, you know, it was unpredictable, and so it was refreshing. And I think the same thing's going to happen here with the Eternals. Hopefully, they will execute on this better than they did with the Inhumans. That
Yeah.
that might be Marvel's only mistake so far in their the modern era, at least in terms of execution.
I don't know. I didn't even see it. I've tried several times to read Inhumans, and every single time like this is probably the worst thing I've ever read from a Marvel
Well,
comic.
okay. I was referring to the TV show.
Yeah,
in this case,
and that's
but, like,
and the point that I'm making
and,
is that from what I hear, the TV show took basically the same route.
it was not executed well. I will say this: Agents of Shield did Inhumans better than the Inhumans did Inhumans. All right, Agents of Shield was all over that Inhumans topic, and it was pretty compelling. I don't know how they ended up dropping the ball with the show.
What do you do?
But in this iteration, the Eternals, it's going to bring in a couple of big names. So we're going to have Angelina Jolie is going to be in the movie,
Okay.
as well as Salma Hayek.
Okay.
There are some people I'm not really. Don Lee, I don't know who Don Lee is. Lauren Ridloff and Brian Tyree Henry, and I won't tell you what their roles are, even though I have them here. But you know that they do have a couple of big names that are going to add some weight, at least some heft to the movie. And you know, and I think this will be the first time. It won't be the first time Angelina Jolie has played a comic book character.
No.
No. Yeah.
But I mean, well, Tomb Raider, if you want to consider it a video game, it's also been a comic.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So-
I was trying to rack my brain. I'm like, I know she was the Tomb Raider, but what other like was Wanted a comic book?
I'm not aware
I
that
think so.
Wanted was a comic book.
That could be a
but,
good comic. Anyway,
yep.
that's neither here nor there.
Curving bullets and weaves that dictate the
Yeah.
fate of humanity. I don't know. Anyway, a little silly in my eyes.
Yeah, but it was cool.
but it was
I
still cool.
enjoy it.
It was A for effort. And then Salma Hayek, I don't know if has she ever been in a comic book property before?
Not that I can think of, not off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't think of any.
Drawing a blank right now. Let me.
Yeah, no. So I think, you know, so that's kind of cool that they've been brought in now to the Marvel fold. You know, it's couple of big names. I'm excited about it. See what comes of it. And there's a bunch of other announcements that they made about Phase 4, and these announcements were obviously it's going to take a while for us to, to see what they all mean, right,
roll
and
them out.
what's to come. But they've announced, and this is going to be in chronological order from as best as I can tell. There's going to be a Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings movie.
The first Asian to come out in cinematic.
Is that true?
I think so.
What about Mantis?
Lead?
First Asian lead for superhero.
Okay, Asian lead.
Asian
okay.
lead. Okay,
Yeah.
because I was going to say Psylocke. Wasn't Psylocke, you had Jubilee,
Yeah.
who's
And
Asian,
then-
but she's a supporting character.
And then
Yeah.
there was also Mantis and
And-
Guardians 2
Yep.
and
Yeah.
Avengers.
Yeah.
But again, she's not a main. She's
Yeah.
she's
She's
she's a
supporting.
background character.
Yeah.
Right. So this is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
The Shang-Chi property is pretty awesome. I mean, I remember reading comics for the first time. I started with Punisher, and Shang-Chi was like basically the next comic that I read after reading the Punisher in the Marvel fold,
Right.
which was pretty cool. Then you're going to have on the Disney Plus channel in spring of 2021, allegedly, WandaVision.
I heard about that. That was
WandaVision?
So we get
It's a Wanda and
Scarlet
Vision.
Witch and Vision.
So we're getting Vision back.
Yeah.
See, I've wanted a Scarlet Witch before even Captain Marvel came out. I thought they could have
we
done
go.
so much more with her character, and being the actual most powerful hero in the entire universe, fact, there's so much more they could have done with her character.
It's funny. My
So
son
I'm
said the same
excited.
thing.
It's true. It's 100%. She's an Omega level mutant in the X-Men, and even outside of that, she still her powers can literally rewrite reality on a whim. Like
Yeah.
honestly, if they gave her time to realize, maybe that's why they didn't do it. Because if she had time to really realize the potential of her abilities, they wouldn't have even needed.
She's basically the
Infinity
Vince
Stones.
McMahon of the Marvel universe.
Like she makes Adam Warlock look like a punk. All right.
Yeah.
So and.
Adam
If
Warlock.
it wasn't for his cheap little fire the cannons, she would have destroyed Thanos before anybody else could have shown up
Yeah.
to do it.
He was kind of on the ropes at that
Oh yeah,
point.
no, he
for
was
sure, for sure.
You could see the fear in his eyes. She was obliterating him.
Yep.
So yeah.
Who are you?
What? Oh yeah. Oh,
Who are you?
Oh, you'll find
It
out.
was one of my favorite
no.
movies.
Famous last words.
Being a huge fan of Scarlet Witch. So
anyone-
I'm actually excited to see
So-
what they do with that.
I'm sorry. This is a bit of a
Yeah.
pointless nothing. But when Thanos said, "Who are you?" Did anyone else get M. Bison vibes from the terrible Street Fighter movie from the 90s? When M. Bison destroyed your village, it was the most important day of your life, but to me, it was only a Tuesday.
That's basically.
That was the
was-
vibe
that was
I got.
literally what
I was just like, oh, that's like that's the worst thing you can say to this person right now.
I love that moment in that movie, that obscure moment, occupied such a prominent space in your mind.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's just like, I always correlate things. Like, when things remind me of things, like, I kind of just like focus on that thing that it correlates with in my brain.
Did you watch the rest of Endgame after that, or
I mean,
did you
yeah,
just, like, have M. Bison just
You stopped the
constantly-
movie and watched it. You popped the other one in.
Yeah, I popped in Jean-Claude Van Damme over Endgame. Are you kidding me?
Well, why not?
Dude, he's time cop, man.
We're done with this. Okay, tangent over. We're going back to Scarlet Witch.
So yeah.
How
that'd
long
be cool.
before we get Jean-Claude Van Damme in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I don't know. He's.
A long
I feel like he doesn't have
time.
much time left. Like, not that I think he's
he
getting
have
too
time
old
now?
and he might, pass soon. I'm just saying, like, he's like how long before we see Arnold Schwarzenegger join? As an old man, I don't know.
That'd be kinda cool.
Probably not at all, or like playing.
Old Man Cable.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
good one. Good
You
one.
know what?
I like
You're
that.
right. You're right. I should not have questioned Arnie. My bad. I
I
apologize.
mean, he's still making Terminator movies, so
That's
why
true.
not
Yeah.
have
That's
throw him
true.
into the MCU?
He is. He is.
Oh.
So we got WandaVision. Then moving along on the timeline, we got in May of 2021, we have the next Doctor Strange movie
I
titled
that
Doctor
long?
Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
can't wait for this film.
Multiverse.
I can't wait.
The Spider-Man feint is a reality. Well,
we don't. I don't know if we actually know that though.
It was quote the first, not the first, but the horror movie of Marvel that's coming out.
really?
Yeah, it was like kind of surrounding like horror like genre. So
I heard New Mutants was doing that, and we've just not heard anything about the New Mutants movie, by the way.
I think that's coming out next year.
Is it?
It's set around next
Is
year.
that how they're bringing in the X-Men?
So that,
No.
but are they considering that like a Phase 4 film, or is that
I'm
just like
not
how is that
sure.
all like?
It's been delayed and pushed back
Yeah.
so many times.
I was thinking that I had this like secret hope that they were delaying it and pushing it back to somehow add stuff in or change it or edit it to bring it into almost the somehow tie it into the MCU.
Because that trailer it gave me goosebumps. I'm like that trailer was amazing.
Yeah, and that was labeled like the first like Marvel horror movie.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're saying that now about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I don't know.
I mean,
how it all fits
maybe.
in.
Madness.
Yep.
I'm just excited because Doctor Strange is probably one of my favorite Marvel characters.
Definitely, my wife is a big fan. She loves the Sherlock Holmes.
Oh,
show
So-
on
so
Netflix.
she's more a fan
Great
of-
Likes to
actor.
come back.
Yes.
She's more a fan of Benedict Cumberbatch.
Cumberbunt.
It's
Cucumber Patch.
Cucumber Pat, Benny and the Eggs. There's so many jokes about his name and how you can say his name wrong. I had to put
Eggs
it in. I'm
Or
sorry.
right.
Benny and the Eggs Cucumber Patch.
Oh gosh. So, moving along from that, we also get rejoice, Tyler, Loki.
Yay, my brother.
Yay.
Yeah. So Loki
me.
is going to get his own Disney Plus show.
I'm so
That should be
excited for
interesting. Does this prove that he survived?
So, from
Maybe.
what I understand, it is tales from before. the
Ah.
events. That's what I've heard.
I'm okay with that.
I don't know if that's speculation
Because
or what.
there is so much time
Mm-hmm.
where he is just like in the background of the films, off doing shenanigans.
Yeah,
It could actually work.
it could.
Unlike Winter Soldier and Falcon, who have no time in the background. He's got plenty of time.
That's right.
I mean,
That's his entire MO.
everything after he throws
Yeah.
himself off a giant rainbow bridge, to like when he shows up in New York
yeah.
during the first Avengers, and then after breaking out of prison. There's just and on Sakaro.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's I mean he's got all that time where he's messing around. And how long was he on Sakaro before his brother showed up?
8 months.
It was a while. He
Does
was there
that
for a
mean we
while.
get to see more Jeff Goldblum?
That
potentially?
almost invariably means yes. And I would
that might
happily
get more Goldblum.
I would happily, if it was just like him and Goldblum is
Goldblum
always in the
playing
background
Goldblum.
of the episode, just like kind of manipulating things, that'd be great.
Yes.
That'd be
Jeff,
fantastic.
you're Goldbluming all over
Jeff,
the place. Dial it back.
Jeff, get on board with this if it's not already happening. Just like make sure it does.
I want to see Loki get the melty stick.
Yes.
Well, we already know he does. Well, actually, maybe he could. They could probably do something with like illusion magic
Yeah.
and gets melted, but doesn't really happen. So that he can like go low key for like a week.
I see what you did there.
Loki.
Low key.
That classic hit the low.
Punjar worthy right there.
Then he
that
pops
was
up
unintentional, I could
We're
tell.
still
Like
using
the next
the
episode, he's like,
Punjar.
"Didn't I melt you?" No. What are you talking about? Oh, okay, whatever.
So we'll probably end up, well, maybe, hopefully, get to see a little bit more of the realms
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be nice.
with a Loki show, so which would be kind of cool. Because I think
Yeah, doesn't he like ravage across the 9 realms for like the whole background of between movies?
pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we get some of that.
Possibly
That's gonna.
it's just that going across all the 9 realms.
Loki's
Yeah.
shenanigans across the 9 realms.
It's got some fantastic possibilities, that's for sure. We're
That's
also
absolutely the theme song.
supposedly in spring of 2021, we're also going to get an animated, and they're considering it part of Phase 4, an
Right.
animated What If series.
Okay.
So,
About time we get
Like, what do
If.
you mean?
yeah. So this is going to be, huh?
Like, what do you mean?
So the What If comics,
All right.
which were popularized, I mean, it might have been before, but in the 90s, What If comics were all over the place. So basically, they were alternate. There were stories that really didn't take place. They were, what if
Spider-Man and
so-and-so,
Deadpool
like,
hung out together.
yeah, what if like Wolverine was worthy, of holding
Or like
Mjolnir?
Thor
What
was
if,
raised by ice giants. Like that was one.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a
exactly.
recent one that came out
Yep,
a
that was-
couple months ago. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
It was if Thor and Loki were like swapped, so Thor became like a frost giant, and Loki was the child of Asgard.
He was the worthy one.
Yeah. So this show
That'd
is
be interesting.
yeah, it's just going to be like completely turn Marvel Universe on its end type stories.
And I can totally see this possible what if series being every single episode is just like a specific what if, like
Yeah.
what if
Yeah.
this scenario, and then another, like that episode ends, that story's done, that's it.
Yep.
How long are these episodes? It's a question.
I mean, if it's
They
if
haven't
it's,
really announced any details about like the format.
I'm assuming it's like a Netflix original series where it's like episodes are 45 minutes to an hour long,
Right.
Yeah,
where
it
you
really
can fit
depends on
entire
the
contained
demographic.
stories within that kind of time frame.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
that's true. We don't know who they're aiming it at too. They don't.
Yeah,
we
the
don't know if this is
demographic.
like a kid show or if this is. I doubt it'll be a kid show.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids don't
I would
need any more
imagine-
Marvel. They've got enough. I want more. Make it for me.
Says the biggest man child in the room.
I am a pretty big man child.
November 2021 brings in Thor. Wait, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes.
Love and Thunder. That's actually. I'm pretty sure this also arisen from a what if comic where it was where Jane Foster is worthy of
Well,
wielding.
no, there's the entire Mighty Thor.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But like, didn't that also start from a what if? No.
No.
I actually don't know that.
I'm like 80% sure that like initial concept came from a what if comic, but I could be way wrong on that.
It could be.
Please tell me if I'm wrong.
Yes. Comment.
Yes, he likes being corrected.
Yeah.
I do not. Don't tell me if I'm wrong.
Like,
Producer
I
guy.
thought
Agree
like I thought initially like Thor died and the torch was passed on to her.
You mean
I
maybe?
thought that's
I
what
thought
happened.
he was found unworthy, which is why he later had a new comic book called The Unworthy Thor.
Oh yeah.
He was because he was banished from Asgard.
I take from you your power, and I cast you out.
I mean, if a frog can hold it,
I mean, but that was a pretty cool frog. Like,
he was.
We're talking about
Is
frogs
it
again.
Throg.
yeah.
Yes, we are. That was off camera, Hallie. Don't sell me out now.
Not that we ever sell each other out.
Never.
That editing guy needs to get his act together.
Never.
Yeah.
Actually, recently, the editing guy is he's making his way up to
Really?
Yeah,
the big
Peanut
seat now.
Gallery,
Actually,
yeah.
I think.
Oh, good for
I
him.
think pretty soon we're gonna see him out here on the table talking with me right now.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
So, what are the
Edit this
thoughts?
out.
Like, so this kind of calls into question if they're going to make Jane Foster Thor in the next Thor movie.
Then we should keep Thor, like moving on with the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
But I'm
As they
hearing
kinda
rumors
hinted
that
at.
there are no plans for that, which shocks me considering the
They set it
events.
up
They set it up for it.
big time. Well, we know that Thor has passed on the rulership
Yes.
to Valkyrie.
Valkyrie. Yep.
Which is she maintaining that name? Because I actually heard that we're going to be getting a new Valkyrie too.
From what I was reading about the Mighty Thor movie that we're going to be getting,
Right.
Love and Thunder, Valkyrie might be looking for a new person to be the king or queen of Asgard, and it's going to be Jane Foster. Like, I don't know the specifics necessarily, but that's conjecture that I was reading.
He passes first his throne on to someone new, then passes his ex-girlfriend on to her, and says, here, take my powers, too. That's it's gonna be an interesting storyline.
You know, who can say? Because, quite honestly, I haven't read the Mighty Thor comics.
They're actually pretty good. I'm not lying.
I've heard good things about them.
Yeah.
Just
I quite enjoyed them.
haven't gotten around to them.
It was a good story.
Especially
Solid story.
there's a concept where the powers themselves are too much for her body to handle. So when she isn't in her Thor mode, she's being riddled with cancer.
Yeah.
And so you have this kind of juxtaposition between this weak, like, dying woman and, like, this powerful Asgardian being that she becomes when she wields the hammer. And it's actually pretty good.
Yep.
Regardless, I'm excited to see Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they're bringing Natalie Portman back
Yeah.
to be Jane
Yeah.
Foster.
Which is a switch because I know that she was quite disenchanted with her.
I mean, that was on-set troubles that
There was
caused all that to happen. And she stood up for a principle that she had set, and
Yeah.
I don't know all the details, but I know it had to do with the director of the second movie. End up getting fired,
Yep.
and she was like, "Oh, I'm done after this because I endorse this particular director." So I have to imagine that they somehow came to terms with that.
They made a compromise.
Yeah.
I think somehow the color of money is the strongest
But
color.
does Natalie Portman
Yeah.
Really need the money?
that money? Well, I mean, she's already been
every
in
actor
two.
needs
It's not like she's getting
something.
she's getting an opportunity to be in a Marvel film. She can't pass this up. No, she's been in 2 already.
True, but since Thor: The Dark World, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has gotten that much better, that much bigger, and that much more successful.
I don't
that's
like to
valid.
think. I don't like to
Which-
think that.
And
Natalie
she
Portman
probably
needs-
started thinking about, I remember I had a role in another big series too, and that didn't go over so well. Maybe I shouldn't give up a good thing when I got it.
Well,
Yeah.
let's be fair. It wasn't her
Got a
that
point.
was the problem. It was
Right.
Jar Jar Binks.
Well,
I don't like these movies. They're coarse. They're irritating
Someone-
to get everywhere.
someone with the initials GL might also be responsible, and I'm not talking Green Lantern.
He might have gone far in a few places.
But I don't want to trigger anybody out there.
Brandon.
Brandon, yeah, exactly. So maybe we should move along.
Yeah.
Will we move the song a little bit?
Let's move along.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. All
Let's,
right.
let's see what else is going on.
So we're getting towards the end of the announcements for Phase 4, but fall of 2021 is also going to bring the Hawkeye series, which we
Right.
talked a little bit about before
Right.
we started.
Yes, how he's better
we
than
turned the cameras
Green
on.
Arrow in every way.
No, that was on camera.
Oh,
That was on camera, but
Yeah.
we were talking about how Jeremy Renner there's a planned appearance, right, in this
Right.
Hawkeye series. We don't know how much he's going to be involved.
That is what it said. But we do know that it's actually going to be about Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop,
the
yes.
young lady that takes the mantle from Clint after he retires the name. Yeah, it should be pretty interesting, I think.
Yep.
I personally haven't read that Hawkeye, but I
enjoyed it.
I have caught her character
Yep.
in other crossovers, and she pretty much holds a similar personality to Clint himself, maybe with a little bit less of his dark side, but she's
Yep.
very capable. I thought she was fantastic, and she did a bit part in the early Old Man Logan, and she was,
Oh, yeah, that's
she was
right.
pretty good.
That's right. Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing how this new character develops. I'm a huge archery fan, which is why I love Hawkeye in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you don't give her a compound bow, I'll be happy. Because compounds are for people
funny
who don't
thing
have skill.
about, I just had this thought. I'm sorry for interrupting. I had this thought. We keep saying, I haven't read these comics yet for these upcoming IPs. They're coming out in
Should probably read
2021. We
them.
have plenty of time to read the comics.
You do. That's
before,
true.
Yeah.
Before the series,
Yeah.
before the show.
I'm gonna go back and read though. I'm gonna retrogress in my reading because I have a feeling that Marvel is gonna be gearing all of their comics towards those upcoming.
Right.
I have a feeling in 2 years we're going to be
Properties.
sitting here going, I haven't read that.
Viewers, timestamp this poem right here, and in 2 years, if we say that, Be sure to remind us.
Oh man.
We're queuing up
my
our shows.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's on the plate. There's some other properties that they've announced that they haven't really tied in a date or a timeline to.
Right.
We know that there's a Black Panther 2
Yeah.
that's going to be delivered. We know there's going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy 3,
As Guardians of the Galaxy.
Maybe.
possibly as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Definitely gonna do it.
Come on, James Gunn, you can deliver. We
I
know
mean,
you
has
can.
Chris Hemsworth announced that he's no longer going to be working with?
I think he said that a couple of years ago that after the Infinity Cycle, he was going to be done with Marvel.
Well, Chris, give me a call. Let me know what's going on. All right, cool.
He's right here.
Different Chris. Chris knows who I'm talking to. Not you, Chris.
You
The
mean,
other
you
Chris.
mean miniature Chris? Miniature guy Chris?
No,
No.
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine.
We'll,
Thank you.
Chris
Steve-
Evans.
Call me Steve
will
Trevor.
will Captain Kirk make it into the next Guardian of the Galaxies? That would
Well, I
be
mean,
that would
Thor
I would
was-
I would watch that. Star Trek meets Guardians.
Star Trek meets
They
Guardians.
boldly
of the
go
Galaxy.
and
Might
then
work.
find out that the Asgardians have beaten them there.
Let's get.
Drax would destroy the Enterprise.
I'm not
single-handedly.
saying they fight. Like they should work
I mean,
together.
He would claim to have destroyed it single-handedly.
Listen, let's get Chris. Let's get Chris Evans, Chris Pine, Chris Pratt, and
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth
The
all in the
Chris's.
same movie.
The Chris's.
That would be pretty awesome.
Let's get them into a comic book
I
movie
would.
together.
I just want if they just made a show, all of them together,
Chris's.
just
Everybody
called
loves
it the
Chris.
Chris's, and it's just them like constantly like bickering over like potential roles and stuff. Like let's just put all the Chris's into one house instead of Big Brother house. It's the Chris's house, the Chris house.
This is a big reality show about the Chris's.
That would probably lead to a lot of melted ice cream.
Oh.
I would enjoy that.
Cut it.
Get it together.
Moving on.
Make that happen.
And then the last thing that was that beautiful, beautiful announcement that they made was the reintroduction of Blade
Yes.
to the Marvel
Right.
universe.
the actual
Right.
first rated R comic book
Does this
movie.
mean
Yes.
is it going to be connected to the MCU, or is it just going to be
I
its
really
own
hope
separate
so.
Marvel property?
We have no reason to believe that it's not.
So now we're going to have vampires in the MCU.
How awesome is that?
I mean, that would be cool, but the question is,
That would
like
suck in a good way.
like mutants, where have the vampires been?
Punjar now.
You know what?
See, I
Instead
I
of the
just
pun
don't
jar,
even
give me
acknowledge it.
give me
I
your
know.
money. I'll put it in my pun pocket.
Put it
That's
into my
new.
pun account in my bank.
Yes.
But anyway,
Yes.
yeah, Tyler raises a good point. Where have
Yeah.
the vampires been if it's connected to the MCU? Where could they have
Oh,
been?
wait a second. Blade's just done such a good job that nobody even noticed.
Well, clearly, vampires weren't a threat.
Yeah.
They didn't rise to
he was
Avenger
taking
level.
he was taking care of it. Thank
He
you,
was.
Thank you, Wesley
He
Snipes.
was taking care of it. They were the
Sorry for
Now,
the tax evasion.
do we know who's going to play
yeah.
Blade?
We do actually. We do know
And
who's
it's
going to
not-
play Blade.
it's
Isn't
not
it
Wesley
Snipes.
Mahashra Ali?
Yes, it is.
I
Yep.
gotta be honest, I don't know who that is.
Trying to think of movies that you would have seen him in. He was Uncle Aaron in Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay, so bear in mind that Into the Spider-Verse is an animated flick. So now I vaguely
Now you know what
his
he
You ever
looks
seen
like.
voice sounds
Aragon?
like.
At least you know what he looks like.
No, I have not. I'm gonna look it up. I'll look up his face.
Yeah.
Because
Do we know any
Seems like a
live
good
acting roles that?
Yeah, he was a character in the very bad movie Aragon.
didn't that get canceled? Like, didn't they have like a series planned? And then
Eric,
it
that
just
was
didn't
years
happen?
ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, like when I was a kid.
yeah. Before he got like really big, he had a bit role in Aragon, and that's honestly the only thing I can think of because I've been re-listening to the
We
books.
are going to.
Okay.
We're gonna IMDb his
Yes.
his filmography because maybe he's deserved a lot more credit than we're giving him.
I'm sorry.
I think
sorry.
that's probably the case.
Sorry, Mr.
but-
Ali.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
But,
when he plays a fantastic Blade, he's gonna be just like proliferating across the.
Oh, of course.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
Move along in
Yeah,
the meantime.
move along.
while we're-
Okay.
I wanna see
Well,
this.
I think we have to give DC some due here, right? And
Do we have to?
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
you are perfectly positioned right next to Tyler for this conversation.
Oh, I know. Oh.
We can have a lot of DC hate right up the middle in this panel.
He was in Luke Cage.
I mean,
He played Diamondback. No, not Diamondback. He played
Cotton?
Cottonmouth.
Cottonmouth.
It was fantastic.
Nice, yes.
He's absolutely fantastic.
All right.
So
there we go.
now that we
Okay,
have
well,
the
now
Luke
I'm
Cage
excited.
connection, is,
Two Marvel.
is Cottonmouth
worlds.
actually Blade?
Didn't
Now,
actually
that would
die.
be an interesting.
That would be a
concept.
twist. That
But
would
what
be a
it,
twist
what
and
it
a half.
probably does do is like fully sever the Netflix Marvel properties from the Disney Marvel properties now.
Yeah, probably.
Probably does, much to my chagrin.
Yeah, because those were fantastic.
Yeah.
That isn't to say that if they go back and reinvent the Defenders like they could ever do it better, they might bring back some of the old players to
Yep.
continue the roles that they had made.
Yep.
Like Iron Fist.
I think all of the roles were perfectly cast. I think.
Oh,
Yeah, they did fantastic.
I think they really nailed it on all the characters. I don't really think there was I don't think there was a character that was cast. I think it was the more storylines that were kind of weak
Yeah,
at certain
no,
points,
the-
right?
the characters are fantastic.
Some of the scripting was a little bit uneven in the first season of Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
But the actors and their performances were all right on.
On the money.
For every single property.
Could not have
So-
asked for better actors
Nope.
in each role. I like literally going back in my mind. I can't think of one character that I would replace.
Even supporting characters,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not
They
even.
were- so
So
Yeah, so anyway-
Disney, you've got a lot of work ahead of you if you plan on bringing back the Defenders. Just saying,
Maybe.
you have expectations.
you have a nice blueprint to work with.
Decent
If you ever
framework.
do, just don't replace Daredevil, please. Charlie Cox will forever
Charlie
be.
Cox. Bernthal should be the Punisher. He should be brought back. Yep.
It's actually the first time I actually liked any character that he's done.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he has played a lot of jerks, hasn't he?
Well, and Frank
I mean, he
Castle
was
is
a jerk
is-
in
is-
Punisher.
is kind-
Kind of a jerk,
he's a little bit of a jerk.
Yeah.
But yeah,
little bit.
I've always been sour on his characters, not on him himself, but
Okay.
I thought he did great as the Punisher.
Yep.
Or getting out of.
Yeah. So we want to talk, even if it's just very briefly, let's talk about the announcements that DC had for us at San Diego Comic-Con. So,
Okay.
yeah. Where should we begin? Phil.
I gotta wake up.
So there was only a couple things that really stood out to me in particular. Tyler and I would probably get the biggest kick out of this because we grew up watching this series.
Yes.
Batman Beyond is getting a full Blu-ray remaster.
Like the original series?
The original Batman Beyond
Oh
series.
man, I thought you were talking like
No,
they
they're
were
not
redoing
remaking it. They're remastering
remastering
it on Blu-ray and releasing it
This
like
excites
the
me.
entire series.
Because I like Batman Beyond.
Really?
He's not as-
Come on,
he's
they
not-
had to have a better announcement than that. I mean, this
He's
is
not
San
as
Diego
gritty and
Comic-Con.
sad as-
We're gonna
as Bruce
re-release
Wayne.
some material.
It's have you
That's-
seen Batman
Whoop-de-doo.
Beyond though? Chris, have you seen Batman Beyond though?
No, I have not.
Then your argument is invalid.
So
You know, when are they going to come out? When are they going to continue Static Shock?
I'm invalid.
Because I will take Static Shock all day long.
Static Shock?
Yeah.
that was a WB, a kids WB
And
property
they
from.
did crossovers with the Batman animated series, including Batman Beyond, because of where the timeline was.
Is this kind of like when Scooby-Doo crossed over with like Laurel and Hardy? Or the Three
Little
Stooges?
bit.
or when they actually
Spiritually, the
did it
same
with
concept.
Batman.
Yeah, or Batman himself. That's right.
That's true.
Which
Shaggy
they can
punched the
still do
Joker.
to this day since DC now owns the Scooby-Doo comics.
Of course.
That's true.
Property.
They could do that.
Anyway, Chris, Batman
Yes.
Beyond it came out in the late 90s, and it was an actual sequel to the 1990s Batman animated show,
Okay.
where they had Mark Hamill as the Joker. Like, it was a continuation of that series, where we have a new generation of Batman in the form of Terry McGinnis, when he was being
You
taught
know,
by.
I like anything that has Guinness in the name.
Or
You
Mark
got a
Hamill.
problem, buddy.
Yeah, well, I do love my dad.
In Batman Beyond, Bruce Wayne is an old man. Like he's old man Batman at this point.
He's finally aged to where his personality is.
Okay.
So
You know, dark and brooding.
he's too old to be Batman now. So now there has to be a new Batman, and that comes in the form of Terry McGinnis, who is essentially his intern
Okay.
at Wayne Corp. I can't remember the name of
What a
Batman's company.
promotion!
I know, right? You're my intern.
You know what?
Batman.
You
No.
always get my coffee just right. You Batman.
So it's
Sound logic there in that promotion.
absolutely because we all know Batman makes the most rational decisions.
Always.
The most rational.
That's right.
Logically sound.
Yeah, he's very
So-
well adjusted.
So the idea of something that I remember very fondly from my childhood being remastered, I'm absolutely on board with. Obviously, that's not the biggest news. That's just the biggest news that stood out to
For us.
me personally.
Very
And
excited for that.
I highly recommend you check it out,
I
'cause
thought it
it's-
was going to be a brand new series.
no, it's a remaster of the original.
I'm still on board for that.
Okay.
I highly recommend, if you guys have not seen
Brandon.
Batman Beyond, check it out. It's actually a really good series.
Brandon, come over and let's watch it together. We can be friends again. Me and
You
buddy.
actually have something to bond
Watching-
with Tyler over
watching
with
Batman.
DC.
bond.
But no, like another
bonds.
big, moving on, another big piece that was released by DC
Yeah.
was Harley Quinn is getting her own series.
Oh,
Right.
something new. Great.
Yes,
okay,
something
great.
actually new.
They have something new. Yes.
So this Harley Quinn series, from
Mm-hmm.
what I've been reading and from the trailers I saw, it's a very explicit and violent DC animated show where, you know, there's swearing, there's blood. You actually
Swearing. Oh, I don't know about
I
this.
Shut up.
mean, blood. There's blood too.
yeah, like usually like cartoon swearing is nothing big, but like actually showing animated violence that results in actual bodily injury, DC kind of shies away from that most of the time.
Right.
But in this, we're actually getting like over the top violence. We're seeing like people bleeding and bones breaking,
Interesting.
and there's possibly some not safe for work content in there. I don't know. That like they kind of hinted at it in the trailer.
Where is this being aired? On their DC app?
I think on the DC app. I didn't.
I'll never see that. It requires me to download something onto my phone.
I mean, the
that
only
says,
other network
"We are
would
DC."
consider would be like
Go
HBO.
to there.
Maybe it could be HBO because HBO is also partnering with DC to make Doomsday Patrol season 2.
Doom Patrol.
Doom
Doom
Patrol.
Patrol.
Yes.
I'm
Which
getting,
was another announcement coming out of San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes, that
All right.
was kind of the segue there
It's
for
a
that.
segue.
Nice. Nice job there, Phil.
Thank you.
Well
We're
done.
cutting this out.
Number 2.
Yeah, HBO is also partnering with
Yep.
DCU to do Doom Patrol season 2,
Yeah.
which I'll be completely honest, I didn't watch season 1 mostly because I didn't have an HBO account when.
Season 1 was crazy. It was very crazy.
Was it good crazy or bad crazy?
I mean, my rating would be like a good 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
That sounds mediocre.
I mean,
That's
know
like
what? It's
barely
better than-
passing. That's
It's
a D.
better than bad.
I mean, it's better than really bad.
It's better than Suicide Squad 0.
He
Oh,
has
it-
a point.
Okay. Yeah.
He has a
All right.
point.
Fair.
Oh, actually, no. I can't say it's a 0 because it did win an Oscar.
5.
Yeah.
A 5. Maybe a 4. Or worse.
I'm going to give it a 3.
Didn't Suicide Squad win an Oscar or something?
Yes, it won an Oscar.
The Fresh
for-
Prince should have stuck with Hancock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Hey, if
rewind
they had- if they
time.
had a Hancock series, I'd watch that.
Hancock
Yeah,
was
Hancock
a great
was
movie.
pretty good. I liked Hancock. Anyway, those were honestly the only DC announcements that I actually cared about.
Okay.
Like, that could possibly warrant a discussion, and clearly that was wrong because we're not. I don't know if anyone else has
Did
any
not
insights.
warrant
Was
a
there
discussion.
any announcements about their like movie universe, like big screen
Are
stuff?
they even having one anymore?
I mean,
Has that
we
totally
have,
crashed and
we have
burned at
Joker
this point?
coming out. We have Joker coming out.
Oh yeah, that's
the
true.
Joker.
Joker
but
with
that's
Joaquin Phoenix.
not the DC universe.
Oh, it
though. It's
isn't?
not DCU.
No.
I think it's just.
It isn't?
I think it's a
I don't think so.
standalone DC movie
It
because
would have to be because how could you have that when we already have
Jared Leto
Joker.
Joker.
So this is kind of like
Unless-
alternate universe, like Brightburn was kind of like a knockoff on like an evil Superman.
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, unless Suicide Squad isn't DCU.
No,
Which I
it's
would
DCU.
love.
I assume
But-
Suicide Squad was.
But actual,
DC
so
universe.
actually, maybe they're doing a complete reboot because we are now getting I believe Robert Pattinson is going to be playing the new Batman.
Yeah. Yay.
Why?
Hey, don't knock it until you try it. That's
mean-
exactly what they said about Heath Ledger. All right. I
He
say
has
give him a
point,
chance.
But I mean, Robert Pattinson's
Maybe
past is
maybe
not
it.
really-
Weak sauce.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
I
what I'm
thought-
going with.
Thought he was great in Goblet of Fire.
I'm not used to being the judgy one with DC stuff here, Tyler. I'm getting a little uncomfortable.
This is
right
not
now.
about DC. This is about Robert
Yeah,
Pattinson.
you need
Leave
to
him alone.
spread out the
okay?
hate.
Yeah. You're actually
This is,
defending.
I'm not defending DC. I'm defending
Robert
my boy
Pattinson.
Robert. All right,
I
Robbie,
mean-
I got you. I believe in you. You
I
can
mean,
do this.
Robert
Bring
is
us, Bring us
okay.
back. Make me love DC. Ever.
Just like you love Twilight.
I did love Twilight.
I mean, the
When I
Twilight
was,
series
like,
was
12.
Guys,
pretty
guys,
good.
Didn't know
let's stop
better.
talking about Twilight. Twilight died 4 years ago, man.
It's only 4 years ago.
Really?
That was the last one.
Kristen
The last
Stewart rules, man.
I'm pretty sure it died when they announced
No.
that they were making
She's
it into a
not
film.
She has?
Yeah.
Would she give up acting?
No.
No, she learned how to.
I mean, her,
she learned how
her
to
modeling
smile.
career. Yeah, her
one.
modeling career.
She's in a lot of indie movies.
I mean,
She's got a modeling career?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, she's come out in really good interviews so far about her opening up, about not being so down.
She's a
in the
hand
media.
model, isn't she?
No,
No? Oh.
no, she's hit up Vogue and all those popular magazines.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm
well,
an
I'm
avid
familiar with this.
Kristen Stewart fan.
Okay, all right. Well, I can't knock it because I'm sitting over here talking up Patterson. So
Okay, let's get it out of Twilight Zone.
Please, thank you.
So in other
Get
words,
back into
what you're
DC.
saying, Hallie, is that she's gotten better because she stopped talking.
what if he was a Batman Beyond?
I'm saying,
live
well,
action?
she's not stopped talking.
Oh.
See, I can see he's a skinny guy.
She's talking in
Batman.
interviews.
Okay. Talking in interviews and smiling, trying to smile.
Either
for a
way,
camera.
we're kind of potentially looking at a revitalized, a reimagined DCEU, and if that is in
Yeah.
fact the case,
Yes.
although Joaquin Phoenix isn't the youngest actor, and Robert Pattinson is one of our younger actors, so to have his Batman versus Joaquin Phoenix's Joker,
I mean, to be fair,
I'm-
Joker was never really a physical person. Like, he was more of a mastermind.
yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Still, I don't know. I'm not really seeing that Joker film fitting in anywhere within like a DCEU.
It probably
It doesn't have the right feel. I think
Fair.
it would work. It would probably work best as its own
Standalone
entity.
movie.
Yeah.
Well, it does look intriguing. It's very dark looking movie. So they could
You know
have a
who
winner on
made
their
a
hands.
a great Joker,
But
though?
I just don't understand what the overall DC strategy is right
Yeah,
I don't think they have one anymore.
I think they've kind of just given up the idea of a DC extended universe.
maybe they have like this dartboard and they're like, yeah, that looks great.
Oh, I didn't even reach the board. Dang it. Well, I was gonna say, someone I think would be a really good Joker, Willem Dafoe. He's got that perfect face for being the Joker.
Willem
being the
Dafoe,
Joker.
and he's a great actor.
He is. He's
So-
fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. He
That-
could.
That doesn't.
He
That's
could do
not
it.
a discussion. That's not. I'm not trying to lead anywhere with this. I'm just saying, if I could have my druthers, I would have Willem Dafoe as the Joker.
I can see that.
Fair
Fair
point.
enough.
He could probably do the
Yeah.
laugh.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a solid actor. But moving on.
Moving on. Yeah. So since we've got DC really kind of didn't wow us too much,
Oh, there's a surprise.
let's move on to the indie
Here we
fair.
go. Here's the.
Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff coming up in on Netflix, Amazon, and some network channels.
Yep.
Network is still a thing.
For Netflix, we got the Witcher series coming out next month.
Right.
That's starring Henry Cavill as the main character, Geralt. Have you guys ever seen or played anything of The Witcher?
Oh, yeah.
Do
Oh,
you know
for sure.
anything about The Witcher?
I've read a couple comic books.
It's a game.
Yes, there is a game about The
It's
Witcher.
a point for me.
That's one point. Do you know what the
Way to
game
go.
actually is about?
A hunter.
And a witch.
No, not a witch hunter.
Okay, I'll give you guys those points.
I have 0 points. I have no idea.
Okay, so The Witcher is essentially it started as a collection of epic fantasy novels
Yep.
that were originally written in Polish. Like it's a Polish fantasy series, and it essentially follows the premise of in this world, monsters exist, and people really don't have a way of fighting monsters. Like, your average Joe can't just pick up a sword and just be like, I'm gonna go kill that werewolf.
Right.
Like, so to combat monsters, humans made their own monster. And they're called the Witchers. They're essentially mutants, like mutant humanoids.
Right.
Who have all these crazy powers. Like, they're physically stronger than every other human around them. They have the power to track. They can heal. Like, they're resistant to a lot of poisons. They're essentially the perfect monster hunter. But because of their, like, inherently cruel nature of how they're made, people perceive them as monsters also. So it's this constant struggle of people, call out to Witchers, be like, help us. And then when the help, is done, like when the monster is taken care of, they just kind of shun the Witchers. Mm-hmm. So this series is going to be following our main character, Geralt, again played by Henry Cavill.
Yep.
And his personal story, which, is based off of books, which they used to make the game. So there's this huge world of crazy adventures, and I am absolutely on board with following this series.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is on.
Netflix. It'll be coming up, I think about September 15th or 14th, like mid-September, we're
watch
getting
that.
this series.
Sounds good. Sounds like good fall fare.
Yeah,
Yeah, something a little dark as we head into the Halloween season.
yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Other Netflix series, something that we've been kind of bringing up for the last couple months, couple episodes. The Dark Crystal is coming out August 30th.
Nice.
That is going to be, it's a prequel story to the Dark Crystal movie we got
Yep.
in the 80s.
Which we've needed for a
Yes.
long time.
Hopefully, it'll be a lot better than the game they produced.
Yeah.
It was not a good game.
Tyler is
Wait, I
very
mean-
intimately familiar with that game
Yeah.
and
Well, I mean,
boondoggle.
Which game?
The board
The
game
Dark
that we got
Crystal
on the
board
show.
game?
The board game that came out.
I thought you were
It was
hinting towards the actual video game that's coming out.
So, we know that this Dark Crystal story is going to be following three Gelflings, basically three fairies,
Right.
and their story and their rebellion against the Skeksis, which are these like vulture humanoids, which. So, I'm excited.
Hallie's
for this.
doing voiceovers.
Yes, Hallie's doing voiceovers for the Chamberlain.
Chamberlain.
So I'm excited for this series. This is a movie that I've watched at least once every few months when I was a kid because it was scary and it was fascinating.
We have
Okay.
mystery voices.
Peanut
on the
Gallery,
set.
wake up.
I don't think that's gonna come up on audio either. So it's just gonna be
So-
us
Must be the
looking-
evil director.
looking over towards them.
Yeah.
Producer
Goodness.
2.0.
Produ-
Anyway, we got.
Oh,
Oh God.
we've got an infestation on set. No, don't be alarmed, folks. Don't worry, the exterminators are taking care of that.
I'm alarmed. I'm always alarmed. So yeah, we got the Dark Crystal coming out. I'm trying to think, was there any other Netflix series that were coming out that I wanted to talk about? I don't think so.
I don't think
No?
so, yeah.
So you also mentioned that there's a show called Carnival Row.
Yes, Amazon has a movie coming out called Carnival Row. It stars Orlando Bloom and Cara
Delevingne?
Delevingne. We're going to say Delevingne for the time being.
got that
It
right.
is essentially fantasy meets film noir.
Okay.
From the looks of it, it's humans and fae are coexisting in the same world, and there's race tension between the fae and humans.
Well, that's an unfamiliar plot.
Yeah.
I know
Well-
Bright did it first, but this movie's gonna
Well,
do
it's
it
not
better.
even that. I mean, that's just been the ongoing like fantasy story
Yeah,
for
Unlikely going
Ever.
against likely.
yeah.
Oh, humans versus Fae, they can't get along. Oh, that's a
So-
surprise.
I don't know too much about this plot, but
Okay.
from the visuals I've seen so far, we see guys in bowler hats, decking satyrs in the face,
Yeah.
and the satyrs are like bleeding, and I'm excited for this. I'm actually really excited to see
You're
this
excited
movie.
to watch
I'm excited to see
people just beat the
fantasy
crap out of
in
satyrs?
not
You
traditional
have like a
high
hatred
fantasy
for
settings.
satyrs?
Shut your mouth. I'm talking.
Whoa.
Well,
We got some animal
Sassy.
aggression
I
going
don't
here.
think I'm gonna
Sassiness
keep that
here.
going.
Whoa.
Probably gonna keep interrupting him.
Zip it.
What I'm saying
Listen,
is I'm excited to see fantasy in not a necessarily fantasy setting.
Right.
Like, film noir is a territory that most of the time you don't expect to see things like satyrs and fairies walking around.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So-
yeah.
I'm excited to see that kind of idea. That's a new idea that
Didn't Maleficent kind of follow that same trail?
not
No,
really.
that's more of like Disney standards.
That's like traditional fantasy.
Shannara
Yeah.
Chronicles.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Little bit.
Chronicles
Oh,
of
there was
Narnia.
the Dresden Files too, I guess.
There's been a few.
There's been a few,
But
but
they're gonna do it differently with this one. And it's gonna look
Yes.
real good.
I'm excited to see Orlando Bloom in this movie.
I do like
Mm-hmm.
me some Bloom.
I know you do.
More Orlando Bloom and onions. Throw back to rolled chicken.
And
There was another
What
show.
else?
There was a show that I saw the promo for.
yeah.
This is from a creator that I very much respect, Gendy Tartakovsky.
Yes.
I know I've talked about this a couple times with you guys, but to our viewers who might not know, Gendy Tartakovsky he was the animation director for shows like Dexter's Laboratory, the Star Wars Clone Wars series between episodes 2 and 3. He bridged that gap.
Yep.
It's a very... Oh, he also did Samurai Jack. Probably his biggest...
Teenage Robot too.
Yes.
Underrated.
He also did Symbionic Titan. He's
Bringing out some knowledge here.
he has this very specific style, this very blocky, simplistic style with bright contrasting colors. The man is an artist,
Truly.
a person I respect very much. Very visual story, very
Yeah.
much a visual storyteller.
Right.
He has a new show coming out on Adult Swim this fall called Primal. And I showed you guys the trailer for Primal. We watch a caveman just wrecking dinosaurs up with spears and rocks,
Right.
and it's
As it should
so brutal.
So are we expecting this to be any kind of like dialogue, or is this going to be basically just a...
It is so. I was watching an
Acted
interview
out.
with Gendy,
So I
and
like Samurai Jack.
it's going to be
Yeah.
very much like Samurai Jack, where there's actually it's going to be different from Samurai Jack because there actually is going to be no dialogue.
No dialogue.
It is an entirely visually told story.
Okay.
And that is something that I don't think I've ever seen a TV show try something like this. Like,
I mean, you got
I
way,
think
way
I've
back.
seen individual episodes of TV shows do like singular,
singular silent
yeah.
episodes. But this is an
entire
entire
series.
series that is going to have no spoken words. And you don't expect there to be spoken word because the main character is a caveman.
Right.
He doesn't know. He only knows like verbal.
Like grunting and screaming,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
as you would expect a caveman to sound.
Okay.
So this is a show that I think is going to do a lot of like really cool visuals with, designs of dinosaurs. We're going to see very much like a Lost World Savage Lands kind of setting.
Okay.
Right.
Like we're going to get monstrous dinosaurs that don't actually exist because last time I checked, dinosaurs don't have saber teeth.
No dinosaurs exist anymore. They're all extinct.
We got birds, but
I mean, we got crocodiles.
Alligator. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're still around, dude.
Shark.
Just got
We got lizards.
open your eyes, sheeple. Dinosaurs are everywhere. No, we got this really. I'm expecting this really cool series where we're gonna see a lot of really beautiful visuals, and yeah, we're gonna get Chris's hand just kind of tracing around.
Why?
One thing I love about Tartakovsky's like art style, you can pause any frame of his animation and it's a work of art. Like you can screen cap any of his drawings, put it up in a museum, and it could be considered high art. And that, if you like really artistic creators and their passion projects, check out Primal. It's going to be coming out, I want to say this September, like late September.
Okay.
And I'm so on board for this.
right.
Apparently I'm very much on board for
I can't promise that I will
indie.
watch it. I can't promise that you.
I
That
probably
will. Watch
will
it.
because it's an Adult Swim
You should
show.
Not
watch
really
it.
up my alley, but
think you'd
I
like
might
it.
give it a chance
think
just
you'd
because
like it.
Phil's just so
I mean,
Did you watch Samurai
pumped
Jack?
up about it.
You should watch that.
I have not watched Samurai Jack.
See,
No.
you're sitting here, you're saying, "Oh, I don't think it's really my style." You haven't even watched it yet. You haven't even given it a shot.
That's true. That's true.
You know, I gave DC a shot, so
You
now I
did.
know that I don't like it.
So I probably owe it to
You
you.
you owe it at
alright.
least.
Okay.
Give it a shot.
All right. I'll give it a shot. I promise.
Thank you.
There we go.
All right.
All right.
So,
I
I
don't think
think-
there's really anything else that I wanted to talk about. Do you guys have anything?
Not off the top of my head. I think pretty much covered everything that is
Yeah.
of relative importance.
For San Diego Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else that
Yeah.
stands out to you, Hallie?
no, I think
No?
we've covered all bases.
We covered the big ones. So, with that, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what we do in the shop at Great Stories
Right.
in
So
Uxbridge.
you actually know what we're doing when we're not sitting around here once a month.
Yeah, because there is a lot going on all the time.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And, aside from, we are a comic and gaming store, and we do serve a lot of communities, micro communities. Magic being the biggest card game.
Oh yeah.
Magic
is,
the
of
Gathering,
course,
for those of you who don't know.
Magic the Gathering.
Yep.
And
That's getting a show.
would be remiss for us not to mention Dungeons and Dragons, which is the other big Wizards of the Coast product.
Right.
Right. So we do
Well,
a lot
probably
of that
the
at the
biggest
shop.
things that we do at the shop.
Yes, and all of us participate in that, which is cool. But there's a whole lot more that goes on, and in fact, we have a big announcement because we just became an official
Yeah. for
Pokemon
the,
store.
The
Nice.
Pokemon
Yeah.
trading card game. We just finally got our certification, so we're able to start holding tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are interested in that, keep an eye out for our tournament dates, and as well as we're getting ready to be sanctioned specifically for League, which will be taken every Friday night.
Which is really cool.
Probably starting, I think, probably in the next 2 weeks. I mean, it shouldn't take too long for us for the rights.
Which
to
will
go
probably
through.
be right about the time we're probably
Actually
going
releasing this,
live
yeah.
with this video. So, which is really cool.
I mean, with my
mm-hmm.
schedule being so open now, I could probably get this out by Wednesday.
Oh, hey, that doesn't mean a lot to you guys because you don't have no idea what date. This
Yeah, you
is,
have no
but-
gauge for time with this. I have
But-
the gauge of time.
It
but,
is
I
uh,
am the chronomancer.
it is October 32nd. Just for you guys who aren't sure.
In the year of our Lord, 2076.
Yes.
Yes. So Pokemon,
Great.
that's a big announcement for us. We do a lot of miniature games at the shop.
Yep.
For those of you who are fans of miniature wargaming, Games Workshop is kind of like the big publisher that does 40K and Age of
AOS.
Sigmar,
Yeah.
which are the two of the big staples that we do. Recently, Warcry was an AOS related title,
Yep.
smaller skirmish game that has come out, and we're starting to launch that on Sundays. But there's a lot of other types of miniature games that are out there, and some of those are kind of presented here in front of you. We're big fans, or some of us are big fans anyway, on the
He's a
panel.
big fan. I think you're a big fan.
Certainly in the
She might be a fan. I'm
of Game of Thrones.
I
Not really.
never really.
You never.
No.
not a.
Phil and I are fans.
Yeah.
He's a
and-
big enough fan for the both of us.
Yeah.
And so, Song of Ice and
Artwork.
Fire, the miniature game, is just a wonderful game to play. It's the dynamics of the gameplay are fantastic for large scale battles. It moves quickly. There's a lot of nuances that are kind of captured within the different units that are employed in the game. The base set is Stark and Lannister, of course, as the whole story starts basically from Martin,
basically
right?
from the word go.
But more recently they've released the Free Folk, the Night's Watch starter sets, and so that has really kind of added extra elements into the game. And we're doing a tournament on the 18th. That would be next Sunday. So now you know when we're filming this. So
Right.
that's 1 week from now. This is a Sunday. But that's something that's very exciting for us. We also play a lot of Star Wars related properties, including Armada, Legion, which is presented
Yeah.
here,
X-Wing.
and X-Wing, and so there's tons of stuff going on at the shop all the time, and we just want to encourage you
There's a game for everybody.
to pick up some hobbies that, even if you're not in the local area, go seek out your local game store and support them. Go in, check out what they have going on. I know that we're kind of in a very video game driven world, but there's nothing that replaces that face-to-face interaction that you have with
The raw
with friends
boarding game.
and basically making friends across the table, and hopefully not throwing some dice at them. Throwing dice with them, not at them.
I haven't been playing as many video games.
Yeah, no, that's actually true.
So
Because you spend the majority of your time assembling and painting them. You don't have time for video games.
Exactly.
I mean, I've made more friends playing D&D than in video games.
Yeah, that's valid.
I've made more friends
It's
playing
true.
D&D than I've made enemies playing video games.
There you go.
I think the
That's a
experience is a lot
statistic.
more satisfying, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And ultimately, probably less costly. I've seen what my kids have spent on video games.
I mean, the
Anyway.
Maybe. Maybe.
I get some guilty looks over here at the table.
I'm not going to say how much I've spent on miniatures.
It's not costly. Please
How much
play
did you
with
pay
us.
for that last Fortnite skin? Anyway.
I mean, the last video game I got for free, but the price tag is well pricey.
So anyway, like I said, there's a lot going on. We have a Facebook presence, so if you are in the local area, we'd love to meet you. And if not, like I said, go seek out stores like ours, because they'd love to meet you too. And anyway, we just want to thank you again for watching our videos. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, share, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think until what?
Do we real quick
Yeah.
want to mention that we are planning a couple other smaller shows, such as like a Magic the Gathering talk and whatnot, coming soon to our channel. We might see more than just one video
Yep.
a month, which would be really cool.
That would be really cool. So I didn't want to unveil anything until I found out we were officially doing it. But yeah, we
There's
have
talks,
talked about
there's
some
talks.
other. There are talks
all-
about some
that's all I'm
other
saying.
format videos, and
I
so
think now if we have people to keep us accountable to these things,
so now you can make us
Apart from
accountable.
me.
right?
You can push us.
Well, I'm
So,
always accounting on you.
So we thank you again, like
See
I
what I did
said, and we appreciate your viewership and your support. And we look forward to talking with you again next month. Signing off.
Thank you.